Okay, so let's take a look. So now we've got our first activity in place. Everything set up nicely. We're getting the event what was selected. So now we need to change to a second activity, which is going to display the details of our person that was selected. So the first thing we're going to need is another place. So I'm just going to call it a person detail place. And it's going to have one field, which is going to be an ID. Let me generate the constructor, put in a field with an ID, and generate the field. This is much quicker. Okay, so the other thing we're going to need is a place tokenizer for that place, for the URL. So to be a little more quickly than we're going right now, I'm just going to paste in some code with a good place tokenizer. Here it is. Basically, it just takes the sorry, I forgot to extend place. Basically, it just takes the ID of the place, returns it, and puts it back in. Not a very complicated tokenizer here. So let's go to app place history mapper, and we have to put in the person detail place. Oh, I call it home tokenizer. I'm sorry about that. Okay, great. Let's go back to the place. Okay, and right now we need to go to our activity right here where something got selected and find out what's the ID of the person. Okay, so let's get our model, current model, and get the current selected person. This is going to be event.getIndex. So now we do have the person which got selected, so we're going to build a person detail place and put in person get ID, so the next activity will know which person was actually selected, and we're just going to say client factory get place controller go to that new place. So save that. So what should happen now, if I press refresh, we're just going to see I'm going to select something and we're going into a blank screen because we haven't set anything up. Oh no, I'm sorry, we just keep returning the same activity here, so we're just going to see the start activity again, so this is kind of lame. Okay, let's set up a second activity. Let's give it a very great name of person detail activity. And we're also going to need a view, so this is going to be person detail view. And we're going to have person detail mgwt implementation. Okay, let's start off with our interfaces. So here I'm just gonna say I want to display some data. The title has to be the last name of the person, so I'm just say my view has to have something like hashtags get title. Also, I would like to have set the name. So let me just say get hashtags get name. Okay, I want to set the job of the person, so it needs a field as get job. Then I need to be able to get an event when someone taps on the back button, so I'm just going to say has tab handles get back button. And I want to be able to set the text of the back button, get back button text. So this is basically the interface through which the activity and the view communicate. So let's implement that quickly. So basically this is the same here. I'm just gonna say we need another main panel, which is gonna be a layout panel. Again, the Google Code one. And we need to return this one. Oh, I just forgot. We are not extending this widget. I was wondering where the routine went, but I just forgot. So back again. So now we're getting as widget, so we can return our panel. Okay. And I'm going to build one header panel, and inside the header panel we're going to see a back button in the title. So add my header panel, then add that to the main panel. Okay, great. So let's build up. I'm just going to use some HTML, which is basically a div in GWT. Import that one, and this is going to be the title. I need to put that in the middle of the header. So I'm going to use header panel set center widget title. Great. So I'm done. I'm going to build the back button. So it's the class header button. I need the button to tell. I need to tell the button that it has to be a back button. So true here. And I'm going to add it to the header panel as the left widget. So left widget, which is going to be the back button. Okay, right now we've got a header in there with a title and a back button. And I don't want to waste any more time here. I'm just going to say we're going to build a widget list, which is going to have 2 HTML fields. I don't know. Add the list to the main panel. Okay, so we say new HTML. This is the. I think we just set the name of the job, so we put here in the name. And name, and once again for the job. Oops, no. Job. Okay, now we got a listing with those 2 values. We could style that much more nice looking, but for this demo this is perfectly fine. So now we need to return the fields. Note again that I'm not returning something like HTML, I'm just returning this has some text. Like the name here. The job. I'm not really returning the actual widget. They are just implementing those interfaces. This is very important to understand. And this is one of the fundamental things about GWT and mgwt. So you do have great testability. Okay, so everything set up nice. We've got our interface for the view, we've got our implementation, great. We've still got an empty activity. Let's fix that. Extends mgwt abstract activity. Okay, build up the constructor. Great. This one in there. So I'm going to ask the client factory for get person detail view, which is not really there yet. So let me just say person detail view. Generate the method. Leave the implementation blank for now. And go back to the activity. Let's set it into the panel. Okay, great. So right now we have no idea which person we should display, so let's get the place controller and ask it for the current place. Get with where. So this is our place. I'm going to do a safeguard here if place instance of person detail place. Let's do something. We should probably do something in the else, but this is just a demo. Okay, with the person detail place, I can get the ID. And with the ID, I could look up in a real model, go to a server, something like that. But here we're just going to go and there's our utility method, person utility, I think I call it, yeah, to get the person which is behind that ID. So right now we got our model. So now we're going to go to the view and tell it to display some data. So let's see, view. Sorry, get back button text. This is going to be the same all over. So text is going to be people because the people activity is right before us. Get job, so text, person dot get. I didn't call it. I call it occupation. That's okay as well. Get name. This is going to be person, get first name, this person, get name. And I think there was one more field to set, yeah, the title. I'm going to just use the last name. And one more thing we need to do, if someone taps on that back button, we need to go back. So I'm just going to use add handler registration again. So view.get back button, add tab handler, new tab handler. Okay, great. And we just need to go back. So I'm going to say place controller here. Sorry, client factory, get place controller, go to new home place. Okay. This is all we need to do in the activity. Let's implement the factory. Okay, just a few words on the factory. Normally you wouldn't need the factory because you would just use juice and generate those factories. You wouldn't really need to implement them by hand. I'm just doing that for the showcases, because it's much easier to explain, but make yourself familiar with Gin. It's a really juiced Gin, really great framework. You should know about that, you should use it definitely. mgwt is built to work greatly with those. Oh, sorry, not the activity, the view. I'm getting lazy here. Create the field, so now our factory is fine. Let's recheck. We need to go to our activity mapper and say if we are running on place instance of person detail place, then we need to return the new person detail activity. And our animation, let's see, slide is okay for the one direction, but for the other direction, oops, it's wrong. If place if old place, if we are in the detail place, old place instance of person detail place, and new place instance of home place. Basically, if we're going back, we are going to need the reverse animation, which is going to be animation.slide reverse. Okay, so let's check again. Right activity, going back. Okay, looks great. Let's see it in action. Oh, sorry, I just started in the wrong activity. Okay, so I'm going to select Dexter Morgan here. See Dexter Morgan, he's the forensic blood spatter analyst. You see the last name here. If we select people, we can go back and forth. Great. If we select Maria La Huerta. Okay, everything working as expected. So hopefully this helps a lot of people to get started with mgwt and places and go aware about. To see about cell list, how to implement a cell list. I left out a few details here. You should use scroll panels. You can use UI binder with mgwt, so you don't have to instantiate all the view small things in your view. You can just write it down in XML. It's much faster. And it's much easier if you have a team of people working together. Someone doing the layout, someone doing the activities. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I think I made myself very clear on everything, so hope you enjoyed it. This was just meant to be a quick showcase. Hope this helps.